Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel that you are currently watching. And this is a continuation of our World Class Championship Wrestling review series. Currently, we are in March of 1982. Specifically, this episode is the March 13th, 82 episode. Please like, subscribe, comment below. We will be going through the entire run as is on the network. You can follow along if you like. And I mean, today's show is reasonably interesting for a couple of reasons. Actually, one main reason, and that is the continuation of the build between the Nature Boy Ric Flair, the NWA champion at the time. Yes, the world class organization was part of the NWA until about 1986, some point in 86 or so. But at this point, recognizing and honoring Ric Flair as the World Heavyweight Champion. Flair pumping for a match with Kerry eventually, which I believe the first one happened in late 82. We'll get there though. Relatively an uneventful show otherwise. But the Ric Flair piece is worth going out of your way to see. Flair, of course, holding the domed Globe NWA Championship, my favorite NWA Championship and non-World Wrestling Federation or Worldwide Wrestling Federation Championship of all time. That is tied with the Bob Backlund belt from 78 to 83. I don't know that they changed belts at the time, but the belt that Hulk Hogan originally wore the first few months with the nameplates is the belt that I like most, but that's not what we're here for. We will go into the review now. Captain Frank Dusek against Jesse Leon. Relatively nondescript contest. Not anything to write home about. Dusek is kind of amazing here, though, as he does a couple of things that are surprising for the time period. First being several arm bars and the like. Not so surprising there, but his eventual use of a butterfly suplex, and which I don't think I'd seen by this point in 82. I don't know that it hadn't been done, but a rare move, commonplace today, but rare then. And even more rare, the top rope superplex that Dusek uses to annihilate and finish off his opponent was exciting here. I can only imagine seeing that in the Sportatorium in 1982. Of course, Bob Orton Jr., Randy Orton's father, was doing it in New York and around the country at the time, but very few were using that particular maneuver. Then, of course, we go into the Ric Flair promo. Flair, of course, as always, dressed in a suit, carrying the championship, basically saying he doesn't understand why he is responsible for facing Kerry, what with Kerry having decent matches and controversial matches with previous champion Harley Race. He says that he will, in fact, take care of Kerry when the time arises. He's not impressed with the Von Erichs. He's not impressed with anything about them. Then we go into the Flair match itself. Ric Flair, obviously, in a non-title contest with Richard Blood. Before this contest, Kerry Von Erich, who I guess is the chosen of the Von Erichs, happens to have a pre-match confrontation with Flair. Worth going out of your way to see this just for the crowd reaction. For some reason, Kerry wearing a headpiece with a feather hanging from it. Don't quite know what that's about, but anyway. Then we see Kerry with a couple of punches and getting a visual 4 count over Flair in a layout for the visual pin that really didn't matter. Flair obviously has a traditional sized or style squash match and clamps on the figure four, refusing to let it go even post-match. Flair does cut a arena-based post-match promo. However, understanding what he was saying was difficult as the arena was not mic'd very well. Then we go to an interview with Fritz and Kerry. Fritz saying all his sons are doing well. He knows that his son can beat Ric Flair. Kerry talks some just really random gibberish. Fritz actually admits that he will be disappointed if Kerry does not become the champion. And, well, then he's going to be disappointed a few times along the journey here. But in any event, it's clear to see that the pressure and push of the Von Erich boys by their father does start getting to the boys probably within a matter of months from here. But it's just unfortunate. Kerry, I don't know if he was in an altered state or not, but claims to be able to beat Flair in 10 minutes or less, which I found laughable considering Flair probably didn't go less than 45 for the several years during the 80s that he was on top. Then we move to a rather sluggish tag match. Al Madril and Tom Shaft versus King Kong Bundy and the Great Kabuki with Gary Hart. Relatively simple match. Madril, who I guess is a Texas mainstay, really was received well by the fan base, doing a lot of punching and kicking and very basic maneuvers. Bundy obviously gets in there with the bear hugs and the avalanches in the corner. The tandem of Bundy and Kabuki win once again. Kabuki really good because he consistently, but at the same time sparingly, uses kicks. The kicks are sold appropriately, and Kabuki probably one of the better martial artists for his time, or I won't say any time, but certainly in the 80s, probably one of the better martial artists in wrestling. And as always, we close with a Von Erich. This time, Kevin Von Erich versus Carlos Zapata. This is what you would expect. They go 5 or 6 minutes here. What's interesting is the finish of the match, which is a standing leg scissors, where Kevin is arching himself backwards and standing and holding his opponent's ribcage in a leg scissors position, getting the submission from that, and we close the program. Let me check here, but I'm pretty sure the next program is the March 20th program, and then we will move into the month of April. Again, I wish that things were a little more complete, but they are not. We are trying to put most of these, I think I missed one. We are trying to put most of these, though, in the archived format, in the format of the nature of having quite a, kind of a playlist, so you can go into all of the process all at once. For the world-class stuff, like I said, going to do several territories, had started a couple, and actually just going to see this completely through. But until the next program, you will be able to catch up with more WCCW action here. Until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.